Hello and welcome to this video on UiPath. My name is Sylvain Boutier. I'm a UiPath Sponsor Professional and the founder of My Little Pod. In today's video, I would like to show you how you can combine automation and artificial intelligence. We are going to build a very simple process. Imagine that you're working in a finance department and you need to process invoices. So every time you receive an invoice, you need to upload the attachment in the drive and you need to send this invoice for payment. So you need to fill in the payment system with information from the invoice. What you also would like to do probably is to update the tracker so you keep track on all the invoices that have been processed. So this is a very repetitive task that we can automate end to end using three UiPath solutions. We are going to use StudioWeb for the automation, document understanding to extract the data from the invoices, and Autopilot. Are you ready? Let's do it. So here on my screen, you see an example of these invoices that I received on my inbox. So here I have the invoice attached to the email, and of course, all the data regarding the invoice that I would like to extract. For example, total amount and the name of the vendor. So every time I receive an invoice, what I would like to do is to upload the invoice in my drive and send it to payment. So here I created a G form where I need to provide information about the vendor and the amount that needs to be paid. So here you can imagine that you're working with a web SAP or another payment system, and this is going to be exactly the same way. Once I've sent it to payment, I need to update this Excel. I just need basically to add a new row with the vendor, the amount, and the status of my invoice. All right, so let's build an automation that is going to do it for us. This is my automation cloud, and this is where I'm going to find StudioWeb. This basically means that I do not need to install anything. My StudioWeb is already available on the cloud platform, and if I'm a Mac user, I can also already use it. I'm going to create a new automation here, so new project, and here I need to select the trigger that is going to start my automation. It basically means that my bot is going to start when something special is going to happen. In my case, I want my bot to run every time I receive an invoice. So I'm going to add a receive email trigger here, and I'm going to customize this activity. I want my bot to start every time I receive a new email. So here you're going to see that I'm already connected to my Outlook account. Otherwise, you just need to set up a connection between UiPath and Outlook. I'm going to look for emails received in my inbox. So here I'm selecting my inbox folder. And then I can build a filter to retrieve my invoices. So here you can see that I have access to all the information about an email. So such as the subject, the sender, the content of the body. So here I always get invoice in the subject. So I'm going to use subject contains invoice, which means that if I receive an email which has invoice in the subject, this is going to trigger my automation. I'm going to add additional options here. One of them is going to check only emails that have an attachment. I want to process invoices received by email that are attached to those emails. I don't want to, let's say, process emails that I've replied to or that the sender is replying to and so on. So only the ones that have an attachment. I can mark those emails as read once processed. And of course, I'm going to work with the attachments because this is my invoice, right? So here I need to select the true option there. And that's how I can build a trigger. Very simple. Now, what happens with my email that I received? I want to get the attachment from this email. So I'm going to use the save attachment activity. Downloaded my attachment. You see the bot understand what I want to do and suggest me the right activity. I'm going to download the attachment from the email that I received. And this is what the tool is suggesting here. It's suggesting the email which is coming from the trigger. So here I can directly select the right field here. I don't need to set up any other filters. I could also add a condition on the inline attachments. So I just, for example, I would like to skip any attachments that would be like a copy paste, a screenshot in the body of the email. So for example, I can select true here. So it's only going to process attachments and not inline attachments. What do I want to do with my attachments? I want first to upload those attachments in a drive. So here I have my drive and I have a folder which are all my invoices. So I'm going to use an upload files activity. And here again, I just need to indicate the files that I would like to upload. So this is going to be my attachments, and my destination folder is going to be my invoices folder. Very easy. So that's my first step, uploading my invoice to my drive. Then I want to get the data from the invoice. So to get the data, I'm going to use an activity from Document Understanding, which is the AI product from UiPath. So this extract document data is going to extract the data from my invoices. And this is an artificial intelligence solution, but I do not need to be a machine learning expert to use it, because what I can do is to use one of the predefined models that have been created by UiPath and that have been also trained on invoices in this example. So I'm selecting here a predefined model, and I'm going to use the invoices model. And that's it. I just need to indicate what is going to be the input file. And you see here all of the fields that are going to be extracted automatically from my invoices. And it doesn't matter if I'm getting invoices from different suppliers. This is an artificial intelligence solution, which is going to look for those fields in every invoice, whatever the formatting of the invoice is. So here I'm interested in the vendor name, total amount. That's what I'm going to put on my Excel and in my payment system. Just need to indicate the input file. What is going to be the input file? It could be the first file uploaded to my OneDrive. This is going to work because I only have one attachment. So this activity is retrieving all the attachments, but I do not really care because I only have one. So I can use the fact to use the first file uploaded to my OneDrive. It's not going to make any change. If I had multiple attachments, I would have used a loop to go through all of my attachments and to extract document data of every file in the loop, right? Good. So I extract my document data. What do I want to do next? I want to fill in the invoice payment system here. So I'm going to use a browser activity because this is a web page. The first time you use it, it's going to ask you to install the extension for the UiPath StudioWeb, which I already installed. So it's going to work right away. But if not, you just need to install it and enable the extension. So here I will be able to indicate what is going to be the tab that I would like to automate. So here the tool is extracting all of the tabs that are open on my Chrome. And the one that I'm going to use is invoice payments. It's taking a screenshot, so this is the right tab. And here I can use autopilot to explain what I would like to do on this web page. So if I click on generate, what I can do is just to write in natural language what I want my bot to do on this page. So it's very convenient to build something that way. So what I can do here is to tell my bot to fill in the vendor name field, the amount as well, and to click on submit. And that's it. I'm just explaining to the tool what I want to build. And the tool is going to build it for me. So it's using generative AI models to create automatically the activities. And you see that based on what I said, the tool understood that I want first to type the information about the vendor, then same for the amount, and then click on submit. So I just need to click on confirm and save, and everything is already created in my workflow. So this is really convenient and very impressive as well. You see that for the vendor name field, the bot has also created automatically a variable, which would make a lot of sense. Imagine that I have to do this for thousands of invoices. I would need to use a variable to go through all of the invoices and to write the name of the first one and the second one and the third one. Here I'm going to change that because my bot is going to start when it receives a new email. So it's going to be only one email. So here what I can do instead is to use directly the output from my extract document data activity. So here I'm selecting one of the outputs from the data extracted, and it's going to be the vendor name. And for the second one, it's going to be the amount. So here again, I'm using one of the outputs. It's this one, document data, and total amount is going to be this one. I click on submit. And what I still would like to get is the confirmation when I submit a new invoice. So this is the page where I get a confirmation. So I'm going to ask my tool to extract the confirmation message at the end. So I have some security and a proof that the bot is running, because when I'm going to run the bot, you're going to see it on the screen, but this bot could basically run unattended. So I would like to have confirmation somewhere that everything went well. So here I'm using a get text activity to get the text from this page. I just want to get the message here. I can use an anchor to add some security because those two links are very close, and I click on confirm. And now what I can do is to use a variable to save this information because I'm going to use it later on Excel. So here I have access to the outputs from this activity, especially to the text that has been extracted. So here I can store it in a variable. I can create a variable, for example, a confirmation message, and I'm going to use it later when I go on Excel. So now I'm done with the part to submit my invoice in the payment system. I just would like to update my Excel here. So I'm going to work with Excel. Even though I do not know the name of my activity, I can just write Excel. The tool is going to show me all the activities that I can use on Excel. And in this case, I'm just going to add a new row because I have more than one information, right? I have name of the vendor, invoice amount, and the status that I just extracted from the page. So I can directly add a new row to my Excel. Same story here. I'm already connected to Excel. I just need to indicate the workbook that I would like to work with. So this one is called Invoice Tracker. It's in my drive. I can select it here. I can select the range. So I have a table, as you saw. So I'm going to use the table, which is this one here. You can see it. And of course, I do not want my bot to overwrite any data there. I just would like it to append a new row, create a new row on the bottom of the table and add the new invoice information. So I'm going to use the append option here, and I'm going to map the fields in this table because the tool is able to understand that this is a table that has some headers. So I'm just going to tell to the bot, you write the vendor name here in column A, and same in column and amount in column B, and status in column C. And this is something that the tool can understand because if I indicate that I have some headers here, I can basically map the values to the right headers. So here you can see that the tool understands that I have these columns, and it's also showing me one example of information already filled in those columns. So I can use those fields, and this makes my life easier because I know exactly what to put in those fields. In the vendor name column, I'm going to put information from the extract document data activity and the one coming here, so vendor name. In the invoice amount, I'm going to do the same. So again, I could have created variables there, but I don't have that many fields, so it's fine. Total amount. And the status, this is our variable. So here I can directly go to the variable panel, and I'm going to find my variable here, confirmation message. And that's it. So here, if I recap, every time I receive a new email, the bot is going to get the attachment, it's going to put it in the drive, it's going to extract the information from the document, it's going to put it in my payment system. And then when it's done, it's going to add a new row to my Excel. So let's see. I'm just going to send an invoice to me. I just need to use and put in attachments. So here's my invoice. It's a very basic one, like this. I send the email to me, and now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the bot here. But of course, what I could also do is to publish it and then just shut down my laptop, and then it's going to run automatically. But here, to show you the results, I will do it on my own machine. So I'm going to click on tests. So I've sent an email to me, so it's going to process this one because this is an email that has been received. So now the bot is starting. And what you see here on the right side is the bot opening something called live stream. And I'm going to explain it in a little bit. So the bot is going to my inbox, has just checked that I've received an email, so it's going to process it, put it in the OneDrive, and so on. I can see where my bot, what my bot is currently doing here, starting here, successful here, so moving on, extracting data from my invoice. And if I make this live stream bigger, you're going to see that my bot is not using my Chrome page. It's using some kind of a virtual machine and is writing the data here, which basically means that nothing happened on my own GForm here. The bot is running in a live stream, so using some kind of virtual machine. It doesn't need to use any tab, anything on my own machine, which is great. And now my bot is done. So if I check my drive, need to refresh the page, I see my invoice that has been added. And if I go to my tracker, there is a new row that has been added with information from my invoice. And that's it. So now what I should do, of course, would be to give a name to my bot. So I would call it, for example, invoice processing bot, like this. Of course, I could publish it, but I could also share it. If I want to share it to one of my colleagues, I just need to click the share button and put the name or the email of my colleague. It's as easy as this to share an automation with StudioWeb. Perfect. All right. So that was an example. Imagine it could be more or less the same with expenses or purchase orders. There are multiple options where you can use document understanding capabilities. Just try to play with it, see what you can do with it. And of course, I show you one way to build such an automation. There are multiple ways to do it. So if you have different ideas on how this could be automated, feel free to share it with me. Thanks a lot for your attention. And don't forget, if you hate something, just automate it. Thank you and goodbye.